I'm here at the Sustainable Aviation Futures MENA Congress in sunny Dubai with Zainab Yaqub, the Senior Licensing Manager of Topsoe, who is our gold sponsor, to talk a little bit more about Topsoe's work in the region and the future of decarbonisation in MENA. So I'll dive right in. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me. What do you see as the most significant challenge facing the region in achieving aviation decarbonisation and the widespread adoption of SAF?
Thank you, Ross. Thank you for having me. I think I'd like to talk about the event first. I think it's been great the first couple of days. I've had some lovely interaction meeting with the industry experts and exchanging notes on decarbonisation, particularly in the aviation industry. So from hearing about the last couple of days, there's a lot of ambition in the region, which is amazing. I think there's a lot of people, developers, clients here wanting to do projects to help decarbonize the aviation industry, for example. But there are some challenges I believe this region is facing, and primarily because the policies, the regulatory framework in the MENA region is in its infancy. I think we have some great capability in this region, as you know, right? Yeah. We have some big players who are attending the conference here who know how to produce, right? How to develop projects. But I believe there's a couple of things missing. One is the regulatory framework and the incentives for the producers to decarbonize and then get into this producing SAF. The second thing is the availability of feedstocks, and I think we've been hearing about it quite a lot during the course of the event. And we can talk about this a bit later on the feedstocks. And I believe the other thing is policies, incentives, they go hand in hand. But the last thing I would like to mention is that one of the biggest challenges also collaboration, right? Yeah. And we've heard a lot how several players are collaborating into creating or decarbonizing this region. So I think more of that is needed.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. I think I heard Joe say on a panel earlier that we can't single out any one part of the value chain, whether it's for this is where the challenges are or this is where the opportunities are. It really needs to be a holistic approach and a holistic look. So yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Given the region's aspirations to become a global leader in technology and innovation, what do you see as the biggest opportunities in alternative decarbonisation technologies? What are the key steps to achieve them?
Yeah. So I think this is a great region, location, I guess, for decarbonization, particularly in the aviation industry. There's abundance of renewable energy, right? So I think, as I mentioned, I hinted at feedstocks earlier. So there's a few things I'd like to point out. One is I think what's most favorable in this region is the PTL way, right? So that's the hydrogen and CO2 feeds. And that could go a long way. We heard earlier today on an MOU that is being signed by ENOC for the municipal solid waste. That's also a great technology pathway to get to SAF. There's, of course, a more mature technology, HEFA pathway, which is mostly UCO, used cooking oil, but that poses a challenge on how much UCO you can source, right? So it's more mature technology, but I think it's the challenge is the feedstock sourcing, whereas the PTL, I mean, there's abundance of it, right? So I think I'm very keen to see how this region will evolve in the next couple of years. But I guess with more, we need to be discussing this in an open forum like we are in this SAF Congress here. And there's the whole value chain of SAF here discussing and talking about these options, which is great.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what we aim to do. Is we're all here to further decarbonisation in aviation. So glad to hear that you're enjoying that element. So I'd really like to hear a little bit more about what you think are the primary advantages and challenges associated with electrofuels production for SAF, and how Topsoe is going to leverage the natural resources that you mentioned to drive production of electrofuels in the region.
Yeah. Topsoe, so maybe I'll focus a little bit on how Topsoe can help decarbonize the MENA region and the aviation industry here. So we, in our technology portfolio, we pretty much cover everything, starting from waste oils. That's the HEFA pathway, right? That's more mature technology. Everybody knows about it. Then there is the hydrogen and CO2 that I mentioned to you. We have different pathways. For example, you can use the hydrogen and CO2. One of the electrofuels technologies is the FT pathway to make SAF, which is a more commercialized pathway. And then there is a methanol to jet pathway as well that Topsoe is currently developing. So that's another way to make sustainable aviation fuel. We also can assist in, also have technologies for municipal solid waste to SAF, which is again our collaboration with our partner Sasol, where they bring in their FT technology and we bring in the upgrading. And then if you just heard in our presentation on the electrolysis, the Topsoe's, so we really have the full value chain here, starting from hydrogen and CO2, the electrolysis, SOEC technology, and then all the way to FT, to product workup, to where we get SAF,
Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I think you've mentioned this, but I'd just love to hear how have you found the Congress so far? And as you said, we're a day and a half in. Have you got a key, if there's anyone who hasn't been able to attend, would you have one key takeaway that you'd like to share from the event so far?
I personally, what I enjoyed, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I understand technology and how we can support our clients decarbonize. But what I enjoyed, I really enjoyed hearing the learnings from COP28 and CAF. And the policies, airlines talk about it. There's a lot to be done in this region, as we know. But like I said, there's big drivers, there's big ambition, and I absolutely loved the sessions that we had this morning on regulations and policies and framework.
Brilliant.
And just to see where we are in the process, right?
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. Thank you to Topsoe for supporting. It's been brilliant, and I hope you enjoy the next day and a half of the Congress.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.